Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session created for a client that was procrastinating. And it was a form of procrastinating that there was a combination of feeling overwhelmed, but also unmotivated simultaneously. And in this particular hypnosis session, what you're going to hear is two key things. One, a metaphor of thinking about a future that is desirable and thinking about the key ingredients that it requires to create that future. So the metaphor here in this case is a garden. And to create amazing trees or beautiful plants, you plant a seed or a small, let's say, younger version of the plant, and then it needs to be nurtured, and then it grows over time. There's no expectation of instantaneous success. And a lot of the most meaningful results in life don't happen instantaneously. It requires a lag time between cause and effect. But time is one of the most valuable resources because it's also the most scarce resource. I did a recording yesterday about the Titan submarine, and if you were on that submarine, knowing that you had, perhaps hours or days to live, time becomes the most valuable thing in the world. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire; you would trade in every penny you have to be back on the surface with time. Where people don't value time is when they make unconscious or conscious choices to do things that align with that time being worthless or worth less than what they could be doing with that time. So what you're going to hear in this hypnosis session is a metaphor of weeding some of those things that might take the distraction away from making the most of that time, but also starting to have direct suggestions about feeling that time is precious, time is valuable, and that you can let go of the things that are impeding that kind of feeling of overwhelm or stress or discomfort to do, let's say, more discerning choices with that time, and instead to link it to a cause and effect reaction that if you want the future that you desire, it's going to take time and decisions to contribute towards that future. If you're listening to this and you feel it's not quite right for you because it was created for someone else, there will be a link in the show notes that you can schedule a free consultation call with me. But you might find that because the general essence of this is about, let's say, extracting the value of the past to enable you to make better decisions in the present to create a future, whether you have procrastination or not, you might find that this session is actually quite helpful. In which case, the best way to utilize this session is to find a comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, to relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in, imagine breathing in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, that's it. Just close those eyes. And as your eyes close, just feel like you're drifting off into a wonderful feeling of relaxation. Breathing in that resourceful feeling of relaxation. And exhaling tension. Enabling you to feel deeper and deeper relaxed. Just by breathing in and breathing out. I want you to focus your attention on your eyelids. Notice the feeling of your eyelids. Notice any tension around your eyebrows, around your eyes. And as you breathe in and breathe out, just imagine any tension melting away, letting go of any tension. And as you do so, notice that it's impossible to relax the muscles around the eyes without other muscles also relaxing. Maybe your forehead, maybe your jaw, maybe your neck or your shoulder. As you breathe in and breathe out, notice that when you slow down the breathing, you're able to breathe in more. And as you exhale, breathe out for longer. And in doing so, you're breathing in more of those wonderful feelings of relaxation and exhaling any worries, any stress, any tension, leading to a wonderful feeling of calmness. That's it. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine being in your garden. Being in your garden on a sunny day and being able to focus your attention on those things that when you focus on them, it makes you feel relaxed and at peace. Maybe that's the warmth of the sun on your skin. Maybe it's the gentle breeze. Maybe it's noticing a particular color or texture of a flower petal. Maybe a smell, a fragrance. Notice that in nature, there is infinite possible things you can focus on. Even just the grass is thousands of different shades of green. You could spend minutes just looking at the details of one plant. And sometimes when you walk around, you are able to notice those things that aren't quite right. Maybe a part of a plant that's died, and it requires no effort for you to just remove that thing and throw it away. Because when the garden is looking a certain way, you're able to feel at peace, feel relaxed, to feel a sense of connection. I want you to get a sense that your mind is like a garden. You can focus on those things that are wonderful and make you feel significant, make you feel good. Every memory is like a flower. And when sometimes people look back in life, they get to an unconscious desire to only focus on the weeds of their past rather than the flowers. But if you had a beautiful garden and you made such an effort to focus on everything that wasn't right, you would no longer feel so good about your garden. I want you to get a sense that in the garden of your mind, it could be a paradise or it could be chaos. I want you to imagine that somewhere in your garden is a doorway into a magical garden of your mind. And maybe it's like a secret door, a doorway into a secret garden of your mind. And I want you to imagine that you're standing in front of that secret door, and I'll count down from 5 to 1. You'll walk through the door into the garden of your mind. Standing in front of the door, 5, feeling more relaxed. 4, putting your hand on the handle. 3, opening the door, 2, walking through the door, and 1, closing the door behind you and finding yourself in the garden of your mind, a magical garden. And there are things in this garden that are amazing. Everything you're grateful for, all your accomplishments, things you're proud of, things you've built, all those qualities you love and like in yourself. These are the flowers, the plants, the trees in the garden of your mind. But also in this garden are things that exist that don't need to be permanent anymore. Things that cause regrets or shame, anger, embarrassment, anxiety. I want you to imagine that these are the weeds, the undesirable plants in the garden of your mind. And I want you to consider that you have a choice. The choice is that you could manually pluck all of those weeds and undesirable plants from the garden of your mind and put them in a big pile like a bonfire and set it on light. But there may be a better idea, because your subconscious mind has many different parts, many different sub-personalities. And the choice is that you either weed the garden of your mind yourself, or you find the part within your mind that is best able to do that. And in doing so, you get to focus on the beautiful things in your garden, while another part will systematically and diligently remove all of the weeds, all of the insects that are dangerous and eating away at your beautiful plants. All of those undesirable things this other part could just remove, and you could extract all of the wisdom from the past without needing to hold on to painful or undesirable moments. And if you desire to delegate this responsibility, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to imagine that a gardener enters the garden of your mind, and they seem thorough. This is the thing that they do very well. Your job is to enjoy the garden. Their job is to keep that garden organized, looking beautiful, and removing the weeds of your garden. You get to keep the wisdom, the lessons, the insights, but it no longer has to negatively affect the beautiful garden of your mind. And I want you to notice the moment you let the garden know what you want to do, they're doing it straight away. Which means you no longer have to think about the weeds, because you have confidence that they're just being removed. And in doing so, you get to now enjoy this infinite garden of your mind, not limited by space or time or weather. There are plants in the garden of your mind that don't even exist on Earth. New species, new varieties. But I want you to imagine there is a patch of land in the garden of your mind that represents the future. And you decide what that future looks like, the goals you'd like to accomplish, who you want to be, how you want to spend your time. And I want you to accept that in order for the garden of your future to be as you want it, it will require choices of what you do with your time. Left to its own devices, it will look very similar to the rest of the garden. But sometimes people desire a future on a different trajectory to their present. And I want you to imagine pulling up a chair and looking at the future garden of your mind, and start to see yourself like you're someone else, how you would like to spend your time in your career, what you would like to do with your hobbies, those things you would like to learn, new experiences, new adventures. And you realize that all of these things require time. That for a plant, the key ingredients are sunshine and rainwater. But for a beautiful life, it is time and decisions. Choosing what you want, and then spending that time wisely to achieve it. So just imagine you're seeing your future as I start to give direct suggestions to your unconscious mind that you can pick and choose which ones are useful and which ones are not useful, which ones help lead to a future that you desire and which ones don't. I want you to imagine that each of these suggestions that you deem to be valuable is like planting a seed in the garden of your mind that could turn into a useful plant to help you from this point onwards. The first seed is that you recognize that time is a precious resource and you fully embrace the value and importance of every moment. This doesn't have to be true for now, but it could be useful for later, and if you desire this belief, imagine planting a seed into your future garden. With each passing day, you become more aware of how your time choices align with your goals, dreams, and personal values. You effortlessly prioritize your tasks and activities, focusing on the important and essential aspects that bring you closer to your desired outcomes. Naturally, subconsciously asking, does this take me towards the future I desire or away from it? As you create a schedule, this will give you a deep sense of empowerment and control, knowing that you are actively shaping your time and directing your energy towards meaningful endeavors. Procrastination is like a weed of the past that a gardener is already starting to remove. And therefore, in your future, procrastination loses its grip on you as you cultivate a strong sense of purpose and urgency, motivated by a deep realization that your time is a precious asset. You easily identify tasks and activities that hold low value, and without hesitation, you can either delegate them to others or just cross them off your to-do list, accepting that it's not worthy of your time. You can call it time management or planning or just making choices, but it becomes an inherent part of your daily routine, allowing you to accomplish more in less time, but also maintaining a sense of balance and harmony. Anything that gives you joy, even if it's walking around a garden or painting by numbers, if it gives you joy and peace, it's still worthy of your time. It's those things that aren't worthy of your time that become less and less frequent. Each day you set those things that you would like to accomplish in that day, breaking them down into manageable steps and taking consistent action towards their achievement. And you can do that because you have the time, and we are now unlocking the desire. Because each time you make progress on your goals, you are cultivating a wonderful future, a future you're starting to see in that garden. The fear of missing out diminishes as you trust your ability to make wise decisions about how to invest your time, your energy, and your attention. Doing less of what doesn't give you joy or contribute to your future, and more of those things that do. Plant another seed of an idea that you embrace a mindset of discipline and commitment, understanding that consistent effort and focus lead to remarkable results over time. And what if procrastination is replaced by a deep sense of satisfaction and fulfillment as you witness the progress and accomplishments that come from honoring your time commitments? Each and every time you pay someone to do the things that you could have done but aren't worthy of your time, you are building an identity that your time is valuable and precious. It is the action itself that solidifies the belief. You recognize that every moment presents an opportunity for growth and success, and you make conscious choices to invest your time in activities that align with your personal and professional development. The clarity of your priorities guides you to make informed decisions about how to allocate your time, ensuring that you focus on what truly matters and brings you the greatest fulfillment. And of course, there's a lag time. As you think back to your own beautiful garden, you realize that you were making decisions, perhaps at one season, that would influence the results, perhaps at a different time in the same year, or perhaps a subsequent year. When you buy a small plant, you expect it to grow, but not without support and maintenance. Your goals and ambitions are like delicate plants planted in the garden of your future. And the more you nurture those dreams and goals, the more likely they are to grow strong and beautiful and reach a point where they need almost no maintenance whatsoever. Your garden perhaps has similarities to your profession. There's an early period of focus and dedication, but then after a while it's less and less maintenance required. And you are activating this same focus and mentality in creating a wonderful future. Allow yourself to see that future, to accept that you are worthy of that future, and to also acknowledge that that future requires time, and if time is allocated to other things, the future will be diluted. And if you acknowledge that your time is valuable and precious, and you will protect it as such, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to imagine walking away from the garden of your future, walking around the garden of your mind and seeing what a great job the gardener has done at removing all those weeds. All of those things that could cause damage to the garden are all gone now. You can see the bonfire burning bright. You've taken all the wisdom, all the knowledge, but also feel a sense of relief that those things that have been holding you back are no longer there. And then you see another secret door, a doorway back to your own garden from the garden of your mind, and you walk through that door back into your own garden, but feeling different, feeling that time is something you will fight to protect, and you will be as discerning with your time as you are with many other areas of your life. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose, and feel like you're returning to the present, listening to my voice in this moment, as you acknowledge that this journey is just thoughts within thoughts, ideas within ideas, dreams within dreams, as you return to the present, as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.